Hello, Son of the West again. I came to you today to talk to you a little bit more about what Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas. I do believe that Jesus was our Savior, but he understood that he couldn't tell us everything that we needed to know. We're supposed to learn what we need to learn and know what we're supposed to know during our lives. Because if we can't manage to do that, then we can't manage to find our way, so to speak. And it's not your way if somebody taught it to you. Do you understand? So basically, I'm going to go through 60 on these sayings. There's 114 sayings spoken by the living Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas, and he knew a lot. He was well aware that the way things are in the world, and he was well aware that, you know, the problems of the world, and he knew that the problems of the world existed within the hearts of humans, and it's the lackingness, it's the selfishness, it's the greed, it's the anguish, it's the hate, anxiety, frustration, all those things. Those are all human traits. Those are all human nature. And that's what he was trying to help us overcome, but he couldn't take it away from us, because to do that would be like to kill us. So in order to understand Jesus better, I'm going to continue with number 47. I've done 47 in quite a few videos because it's really pertinent to what my understanding is. It says, a person cannot mount two horses or bend two bows. A slave cannot serve two masters, otherwise that slave will honor the one and offend the other. Nobody drinks aged wine and immediately wants to drink young wine. Young wine is not poured into old wineskins, or they might break. And aged wine is not poured into a new wineskin, or it might spoil. An old patch is not sewn onto a new garment, since it would create a tear. So you take a child who's carefree and fun, you know, they just want to play and have fun and wee, you know, and if you start making them think about every little thing, you know, if they have to be very, very careful about everything that they do without understanding why, it may make them not want to play anymore, not want to be kids anymore, not want to have fun anymore. And what he's talking about here is how you really can't live the worldly life, you know, do the hourly pay and all those things, and be spiritual and speak spiritual things in the workplace, because your bosses don't want the people who you're around, like at work, to start awakening to the injustices that are being done upon them by your bosses. And so if I went to my workplace, which I've done this and I got wrote up for it, but I started telling people that psychedelic mushrooms are the way, and they are the keys of knowledge that, you know, help you become one with the Father's will. And it was the truth as far as I know it. And my bosses got kind of upset with me about that, and they actually wrote me up and told me I couldn't, you know, tell people stuff like that anymore. I was going to be fired. So I know that Jesus came to understand that, because spirituality is in direct opposition to the physical self and the ways of the world that we've been taught. So number 48 says, if two make peace with each other in a single house, they will say to the mountain, move from here, and it will move. So if you can make the upper like the lower and the lower like the upper, as it says, you know, like as above so below, if you can become one with the Father's will, then the mountain of ignorance, basically ignorance of truth, will move. It will move out of the way, and you will see the truth as it truly is. And that's what he's talking about. And so you become one with God inside yourself. And that's what he's talking about. Make peace with each other in a single house. It's because we're born in opposition to God. We're born without knowing God, with no real awareness of God. And so if you can become one with the Father through like the eating of the psychedelic mushrooms, if you can become one with the Father inside yourself and carry on the Father's will in your daily life, then that's what he's talking about there, is you can overcome the deceptions that have been, basically have enslaved the children of humanity for, you can overcome it with the pure light of truth in you. You can overcome the deception that has been taught to us by organized religion, to gain them money. So number 49, Jesus said, "Congratulations to those who are alone and chosen, for you will find the kingdom. For you have come from it, and you will return there again." So if you're alone and chosen, then you have no more attachments. So your attachments is what keeps you here, and your attachments to those you love and to your responsibilities and to yourself is what keeps you in the world. And so if you're alone without attachment and you're chosen, then you go move on from this life. You move on from the world of hate and sadness and suffering and selfishness, and you go to the land of, the promised land, the land of milk and honey, where selfishness, it doesn't destroy everything. Everybody is equal. Everybody gets what they get, and nobody tries to get from each other, and it is what it is. So number 50, I'm going to stop with 50 today. Jesus said, "If they say to you, 'Where have you come from?' say to them, 'We have come from the light, from the place where the light came into being by itself, established itself, and appeared in their image. If they say to you, 'Is it you?' say, 'We are its children, and we are the chosen of the living Father.' If they ask you, 'What is the evidence of your Father in you?' say to them, 'It is motion and rest.'" So you exist. Your life is not the source. Your body is not the source of your life. And that's what he's talking about there, is if they say to you, "Where have you come from?" "We have come from the light." The light is knowledge. So once you achieve the knowledge in yourself, then you're from the light. You're from the knowledge. It fills you up inside, like filled up with the divine will. If that knowledge fills you up inside, and then you carry that knowledge to other people. And that's what he's talking about. From the place where the light came into being by itself, established itself, and appeared in their image. So in other words, the light is who you are. The light is God. The light is knowledge. And we come into the world without that, or in our perception without that. And so once you find it, then it's no longer really you in the body anymore. It's God in the body. And God is using all the knowledge that you have stored up in the body to use the knowledge that you have to help others with the simple knowledge that you have. And so if they say to you, "Is it you?" say, "Then we are his children, and we are the chosen of the living Father." So if you find it, you must choose to be chosen. So you make the choice to let go and surrender attachment to the world, and then God can come into you, because God won't come into a selfish person. Because if you're selfish, you're not focused on everyone else. You're only focused on yourself, and God can't help everyone else if you're only focused on yourself. So that's what it is what is the evidence of your Father in you? Say to them, "It is motion and rest." So any doctor in the world can tell you that it takes electricity and, energy to make the body move. So that light, that energy comes from God. And that's what it is. What is the evidence of your Father in you? Say, "It is motion and rest." And that's what he's talking about. This body moves around, so God must be real. So I'm going to finish up with number 51. I said I was going to go through 50, but 51's really good. He says, his disciples said to him, when will the rest for the dead take place, and when will the new world come? He said to them, what you are looking forward to has come, but you don't know it. In other words, this is kind of a scary one, but I'm gonna enlighten you anyway. His disciples said to him, when will the rest for the dead take place, and when will the new world come? In this, he's saying that this whole world is full of the dead. Okay, your whole life is a life flashing before your eyes moment. So in other words, all that you are afraid of, if you're afraid of death, you can't be any more dead than you already are. There's nowhere to go from here but up, you know? There's no more death than there is being in the physical body, because this is the physical body is the material that your soul rests in while it's waiting for resurrection. And so what you are looking forward to has come, but you don't know it. So if I told you that all you are afraid of has already happened, what would you say to me? Well, then there's nothing else to be afraid of. Great. Whee! So that's what he's talking about, is when will the rest for the dead take place, and when will the new world come? And so that's basically it, is once you overcome the mental defilements of humanity, you overcome ego, greed, selfishness, hate, anxiety, all of those things, all the frustration, all the mental, defilements, then you will overcome death, and you will find life, and you will be welcomed into the land of milk and honey, because you won't want more than everybody else at that point. You won't ruin heaven, basically. So that's what he's talking about. The people can't see the truth, although it's right in front of them every moment of every day. And enlightened people tell you this all the time, is the truth is in your face every day of your entire life, and most people don't ever notice it. And that's because they're too caught up in themselves to see anyone else. And only once you see yourself can you see anyone else. And that's the thing, is you get so caught up most times in selfish ambition that you fail to see what your opportunity is to serve everyone. And that's the greatest thing you could ever be, is the servant. It says so in the Bible. So good luck. God bless. Best wishes, everyone. Godspeed.